I have to endure the daily grind of Leeds commuter traffic. All this to get to the call centre I work in. Most of the urban workforce are now employed in these places, and it has been said that officers are the new mills. My grandfather worked in a mill, and jobs like mine didn't exist back then. The whole of the north of England was dominated by textile production. Huddersfield, my hometown, was once one of the centres of the woolen industry. For many like my grandfather, and his parents before him, the mill was a place they would spend most of their lives. But how different a life was it to now? What stories would my grandfather have to tell at a time that to us of the younger generation seems worlds away? This is Trafalgar Mills, former home to Learoyd Brothers Ltd. This photograph was taken in 1953, when the mill was decorated to celebrate the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. And as you can see, it's still standing today. Weaving machines have gone, but more recent enterprises have found a use for the building. It's a fortunate survival of our heritage. Many such monuments of the Industrial Revolution have long since been demolished. And it's special to me because this is the mill that my grandfather worked in. Thanks for coming.
Hello there. This is where I used to work, you know.
It was your first job, wasn't it?
Yeah. 1934.
So you were 14 then, weren't you?
I was 14 then, yeah. A reacher in the welding department, putting threads on a hook all day long.
Bit tedious then.
She used to fall asleep sometimes and you get your ankles kicked to wake you up again. Yeah. Couldn't do that today, could they?
And you didn't have far to go either to get here?
No, just across the road from there, look.
How do you feel after coming back here after so long?
Oh, well, didn't like the mill really, it's much changed. Very much changed. Used to be ivy all up these walls, you know, all gardens.
Now it's all concrete.
All concrete, tarmac, yep. Hey, you see this window here?
Yeah.
That was my office when I was a foreman, yeah.
The exterior of the mill is still here, but Frank needed to see the inside of one to better jog his memory. So I took him to Queen Street Mill in Burnley. Built in 1894 as a workers' cooperative, it is the last remaining steam-powered textile mill with boilers, engine and looms still working. The mill ran as a commercial venture until 1982, before reopening as a museum in 1997. There was a serious fire in 1918, which meant large parts of the mill had to be rebuilt. The first thing we came to was a beaming frame. So you were doing reaching, how long were you doing that for?
2 years, and then I got promoted.
So how much were you paid?
A week's wage with 12 shillings and 2 pence, about 60 pence, for 48 hours.
So you've got your spools here?
Yeah, them was bobbins. There's 260 there. They will be wound on this beam. They'll fill it right up to the top of that flange.
Was it while you were reaching that you had the accident with your finger?
Yes. Wheeling a wall with my hand on the flange. Dropped my finger.
Yeah.
Nearly stood it off actually. Forgot to take my hand away. And that's where my finger trapped on a post. It's that one.
In the engine house, we found the steam engine piece, which was formerly named Prudence. It generates 500 horsepower, 375 kilowatts, of power which runs most of the machinery in the mill. You had something like this at Huddersfield?
That's right. A little bit bigger, and it used to drive all the machinery in the entire factory. The engineer, he loved it, I can tell you.
Yeah, very important man, I presume.
He was, because if that stopped, the whole mill stopped. They ran a pipe from the boiler house, and there was about a dozen taps on. And so steam came through, obviously. When it came through the tap, it changed the water. We used to brew us tea in a pot. And also put an egg in and boil your egg that way.
What, you used to boil it in the tea?
No, not in the tea. Oh, you had another pot for that. I worked for a man that was called an elder. I was his reacher in.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like him, you made sure he had hard-boiled eggs. You started at 7 o'clock and worked an hour and a half till 8:30.
Yeah.
And then you had half an hour for breakfast. And about 8:20, all the lads used to have to go and brew the tea up for the men and boil their eggs for them.
Yeah.
Didn't have boiled eggs every day, you know.
No. What helped generate the steam for the engine? Frank and I went outside to find out.
Yeah, mill dam. To make steam, you know, you need water. And every mill had a mill dam or a mill pond. And we were no exception. We had 4 at Learoyd's. And in the summer months we were out to swim in them. One dam were for the men and one dam were for the women. Yeah, we had a bit of fun, I can tell you. We strayed into each other's swimming pool now and again.
We then returned to the slightly warmer mill interior to continue our tour. We moved on to the weaving shed next.
Right, this is a big weaving shed. Similar to what I worked in. Very noisy, you know, in a weaving shed when all the looms are running. And you really should have earmuffs on. We never did. That's why we're deaf now. The sound of a weaving shed is music in my ears.
You worked next in the yard store. What did you do in there?
Which involved getting the yarn ready for the warper. Well, he made a warp actually. It was him that started laying the foundation for making the cloth. Threads go one way, and of course the other way as well. Actually, it was us that made the pattern of the cloth. 10 or 12 weeks training before I was allowed to go warping myself. Incidentally, I finished up training warpers for about 3 years. Well, I became the warping foreman then, in charge. The manager said I was now on the management side. I prefer being a radical younger man, and I was now on the management team. I reminded him I wasn't getting paid as a manager.
There are 300 looms, though not all of them working. Museum staff demonstrate the weaving process for visitors.
It was fun of it as well, back in those days.
Yeah.
We used to chase the young girls around the yarn store, you know. And we had steps that were on wheels. We used to use them as a go-kart, so to speak, and I fell off and broke my wrist. Also, we used to put the young girls in skips. It had a lid on, like a big box, you know, about 3 or 4 foot square.
Yeah.
Fasten them down with leather straps and leave them in there screaming till somebody came and let them out. If somebody started new, we used to send them off to the engineer for a long stand.
Yeah.
The engineer would send them to the joiner, and the joiner would send them to the blacksmith and so on. They realised we were kidding them.
So, presumably you went on works outings back then as well?
That's right. First one we had was to Blackpool, and we had about 20 coaches, I would think. Yeah, and then we had another one to Scarborough. I've got a photo actually, I was at Scarborough. There again with 5 young women. I was married and all then, but I got away with it till now.
So you had the royal visit of Princess Elizabeth?
Oh yes, it was a right feat, mate, with that. Every night when we finished work, there was a night shift, scrubbed the floor. They did that for weeks on end. And it was white, the boards were white by the time she came.
I couldn't imagine that.
And the young flower baskets all over the place from all the girders. Every machine was working, well when I say working, as she went up one alley, they would stop the looms and dash to another row to give the appearance that the whole mill were working, you know. And also they built a special new toilet for her. We never even got to see it till after she'd gone.
Did you actually use it?
I used it once actually, because when I became the warping foreman I had access to all officers.
Yeah. So you didn't actually get to meet her in person?
Oh no, I saw her close to.
Yeah.
She passed within about a yard of me.
Yeah.
But of course I was busy working on my machine.
So, do you look back fondly on your time in the mills?
Oh aye, yes aye. Plenty of fun and experiences. Plenty of rough times as well, like.
Yeah.
They were skilled workers, you know. We made the best cloth in the world, and I don't say that, it was the best cloth in the world. They decided to close our mill down and move another 3 or 4 factories up to Kirkeaton. It'd be 1978 or 9 probably, 78. Yeah, when they started closing down. It took about 6 months to move it out. I had a new job actually, and so when I went up to Kirkeaton I was just the warping foreman, which were much better actually, just to look after the one department. And sadly, after 3 years, I kept getting less and less till I had 6 warpers left actually. And when I started at 24 to look after, so obviously they didn't want anybody in charge. So they put me out to grass. The best thing that ever happened. About 21 years of retirement, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Keep out of your grandma's way.
Exactly. So how do you feel looking around here today?
It's been good to see it all, but it's sad to see you know, this has been a factory and every loom running. And yards and yards of cloth made, obviously, you know. But it's good that they're preserving it for future generations, because young people would have no idea of anything of this, you know. They just looked as though they'd walked away and left it as it was. Usually when they close mills down, they break all the machinery up for scrap metal, you know. But it's good that this is being preserved, just as it is, you know, all the old shafting and everything.
Thank you.
Okay, been a pleasure.
So now I know that things were very different in my grandfather's time. Now I'm off to my own mill. Hello? Yeah, I'm at the mill.